Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session today. So, today's session is handling defiance in teens. And I guess, it's an important topic for some of us. Okay. So, let's start with an invocation. Let's invoke to the Supreme God. Let's close our eyes, connect the tongue to the palate. Let's be aware of our breath. Inhale gently and exhale. Let us invoke to the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother. We thank you for your priceless blessings, for divine light, divine love, divine guidance, divine love, mercy, inner healing, physical healing. Thank you for the inner strength to practice regularly. Thank you for your divine help and protection, for illumination, abundance, and prosperity. We thank you. Okay, let's start the session with Super Brain Yoga. So, Super Brain Yoga is something that obviously helps us to manage our emotions. And it's also a recommended exercise by Master Choco Sui to help teens also. Okay, so I'll just do a quick explanation. So, this is how we do Super Brain Yoga. We cross our arms in front of our chest, make sure the right hand is on top, make sure the nails are also facing east or north. So let's go with east because that's a safe direction for everybody. Okay, let's connect the tongue to the palate. And now what we're going to do is as we inhale, we are going to do a semi squat. And as we exhale, we are going to come up. Okay, chest. We cross our arms in front of our chest. We connect the tongue to the palate. Let's face east. And what we're going to do is as we inhale, we're going to do a semi squat. And as we exhale, we're going to come up. And once we start, we're going to do it 7 times. Okay, so let's start. Inhale, go down, 1. Inhale, go down, 2. Inhale, go down, 3. Inhale, go down, 4. Please make sure your right hand is on top. Inhale, go down, 5. Inhale, go down, 6. And the last one. Okay, so obviously, like I was talking while I was conducting the exercise, rather demonstrating. So obviously, when you're going to do it, the mouth needs to be closed and the tongue needs to be connected to the palate. Okay.
Is unable to log in somehow.
Okay. So let's start. So today's session is on handling teenage defiance. Yes, yesterday's session was a little bit on handling mood swings, and today we are dealing with teenage defiance. So, firstly, what is defiance? Defiance is sort of like, I guess, not following instructions. It's sort of like a mild rebellion, yes, when children are not doing what parents say. So, one of the things that we need to firstly keep in mind as parents of young adults is that they are growing up. They are now young adults and they are now stretching those limits where, like we discussed yesterday, they're not kids, but they're not adults yet. And they themselves are kind of awkward. Yeah. So what, the best thing I feel is, sometimes I feel the law of karma is really precise. So if you just want to like think back on your own times as a teenager, perhaps you can remember a time when you did defy your parents for something or the other, right? And just think back at that moment and just try to see what could your parent have done to make things better. Is there anything you think that your parent could have done? So one of the things that I can tell you that my father did a lot is that he listened. No matter how unreasonable our uh, demands were, if I may call them demands, one of the things that he did is that he would just listen. Okay. He would just wait till the whole thing had come through. And then one thing he would say is, okay, so what do you want to do? So the thing is that when we just listen to our children as to what is it that they're saying, then sometimes we'll get some hints on how to actually solve the problem. Okay. Now, of course, everyone's dealing with different problems, and if you like, you can put them in the chat box. So I'll try to address them specifically. But right now, we're just going to go general. Okay. So a couple of notes that I have here is. Have you noticed, like, I don't know if your teen is at that point, but there was a time when my teens were taller than me. And that was a tough one for me to deal with, right? Because, the little baby is now you have to look up and say, ha, beta. It was not easy, right? So remember, as a parent, also we are dealing with a lot of stuff, and we need to be nice to ourselves. Okay, so what is teenage defiance and how to deal with it? Have you ever been in the presence of someone who calms you down? You just like go meet that person or you go talk to that person and you just feel calmer. Yes. So the thing is, when the teenagers, like we even discussed yesterday, their hormones are just going crazy. It's like they have this entire orchestra going inside of them. Unfortunately, the orchestra is not making music, it's making noise. Why is it making noise? Because it's organs in training. Okay. So these organs have just suddenly woke up, they have their independence, and now they are pushing out all these hormones into the bloodstream. So there's this crazy orchestra training going on inside. Okay, so just visualize that every time you look at your child, if it's possible. And sometimes if it's not possible, one of the things that I suggest to some of my clients who have these issues is, I'm sure you have some baby pictures, right, of times when your baby your teen was a baby. And I'm sure you remember a few cute incidents related to this child. So it's a good idea to put them all into an album and to put that album somewhere where you can access it very easily. Okay, not in the bookshelf, just on your table, on your side table, wherever you tend to interact most with your child. Okay, so one of the things that helps is that if you flip through that album before you talk to your child, because what that will do is that it will actually make your entire aura very, very loving, soothing, happy, cute. You'll just be like, oh, my little baby, right? Yeah. So when you go and talk to your child with that kind of an aura, it will be much easier for your message to go through. Of course, we have the pranic healing techniques, which I'll be talking about shortly. But here we're talking about other things, right? So a baby album is a fantastic, fantastic tool. I mean, don't underestimate it. Also, if you have had a little bit of a, altercation with your child, and you're trying to calm down, even then it's a good idea to look at the baby album. It'll really help you to calm down. So what we need to be aware is that if we are dealing with water that's just shaking quite wildly, is it helpful if you are also shaking? No, right? This thing is already shaking and we are also shaking. It's going to be crazy, right? So the more better thing, if this thing is shaking, then what we need to do is to surround it with some calm, right? And how do we do that calm? Of course, this Twin Hearts meditation. We'll do a lot of blessings. We can do a lot of relationship blessings, and this has really helped a few people. A couple of other things that I can suggest to people who have done pranic psychic self-defense is to create shields for yourself and for your child. More importantly, for your child, believe it or not. Because one of the things is that when we say harsh things to our children, especially at this stage when they're teenagers, it can cause a lot of, it's like energy that's being put into their aura, right? So if you read the book Psychic Self-Defense by Master Choa, he also says that parents sometimes just say things to their children without thinking. And then what happens is that that energy gets anchored in the child, right? And then when that person is, let's say, 20, 25 years old and is not really doing anything useful, that's when the parent is like, what a good for nothing person, right? But then we forgot that when the child was younger, when the child was in their teens, perhaps that is something that we said to them. When will you be able to do anything? You don't even get up in the morning. Or when will you learn to take care of your health? You don't even eat properly. Like, these are things that we say to our kids, right? So be aware that they're going through a lot of change. And in terms of, like I said, handling defiance in terms of pranic healing tools, there's blessing, there's making shields for yourself and for your child. Some of the other practical things that we discussed is, keeping a baby album and looking at that baby album. Let's say, for example, you don't have any happy memory whatsoever about your child. Okay, that'll be really sad, but okay, if you have that kind of situation, then I would suggest just make a collection of, cute baby pictures or, teenage pictures or like, young child pictures, and just keep them handy either on your phone or an album, and try to look at that often. Because one of the things that actually Kunal incidentally pointed out in a different context is that when we look at pictures of what we want, we tend to manifest it. Okay, so if we look at pictures of, let's say, teenagers doing, good social work, we take pictures of little children who are, cute and, how they are. They're just so adorable. Yeah. And of course, the one last thing that I always feel is gratitude. Just be grateful that you have that child. Talk to any parent who have. I don't mean to like make this very glum, but it's the idea is to be aware of really how important it is. I know a few people, not taking any names, but this one person who I know, his son died in a skydiving accident. Young son, right? It's hard. It's really, really hard. So, while we're really getting irritated and annoyed with this teen, let's also be aware that we really do want this teen. Yes, I know we want the best for that child. Yes, I know we want to educate them, etc., etc., etc. But you know what? Yelling and screaming is not going to do it. Okay. So let's say if I and this child is having something, you don't get up on time. I didn't sleep at night. Okay. Why didn't you sleep at night? Why don't you turn off your phone and sleep at night? My friends are awake at night, etc., etc., etc. Don't go into that conversation. It's not going to help you. Okay, what's going to help is a lot of forgiveness, a lot of forgiveness. If you use the teachings of Master Chokkok Sui, again in the book Existence of God is Self-Evident, he says that the law of forgiveness supersedes the law of karma. What does that mean? That means that even if we have negative karma to work out with our teen, if we forgive them for whatever they're doing wrong, you may find that the situation begins to settle. Okay, if nothing else, at least you will be calm. And we as parents need to be calm. When we tell our parents, sorry, when we tell our children, you need to be patient. You know what I mean? Like, don't talk loudly. Like, okay, you don't want somebody else to talk loudly. The first thing we have to do is to not talk loudly ourselves. And we forget this, right? Or, behave yourself in public. And then you're like, okay, am I behaving myself right now? Okay, so I know, please don't take this in the wrong way. I know sometimes our talks tend to focus on ourselves, but that's important. We are mirrors of, um, you know, uh, life is a mirror of what we're giving out, and so we need to be aware of what's coming in. Okay, so dealing with teenage defiance. Okay, one last thing that we're going to discuss today, which we are going to also use, is doing the triangle technique. So the way the triangle technique is done is that we visualize ourselves, of course, visualize our child or the people with whom we wish to, um, you know, improve relations. And on the other side, we visualize the teacher, Master Chokkok Sui. Okay, so when we do the meditation, when we do the blessings, we visualize that there is this triangle. So it's called the triangle technique. So there's me, there's my child, and there's Master Chor. Okay, and we are meditating together. So what that does is that the energy from the teacher through me goes to the child, and then it creates I suppose it creates an energy circuit which allows that child to receive a lot of good energy, as if they were meditating themselves. So again, this is a beautiful, powerful technique. We're doing Twin Hearts meditation regularly here, at least on the live sessions. So because we're doing the meditation regularly, you can just, every time you can visualize your child and Master Cho on one side and do the meditation. Okay, that really, really helps. Okay, so that's handling defiance in children. Be aware that they have their own needs and that they are growing. And if they're being defiant and they're not being listening and not,
Atma namaste. Atma, sorry, ma'am. I'm
and if they're not listening to you, then you need to be very careful. We'll have questions later. So it'll be a great thing if you can visualize your child, visualize Master Cho, and of course, if you forget in the meantime, that's okay. That's not a big deal. Okay, if the child is under 16 years old, it's probably not a good idea to do the Twin Hearts meditation with this technique. You can bless that child with a lot of beautiful energy after you're done with the meditation. Okay. Okay. So let's do that now. Okay. So we will do the forgiveness technique with our children. So let's be aware of this person in front of you. If you have good relations with your kids, that's fine. You can just visualize somebody else in case there's someone who you need to forgive. So let's just raise our hands in blessing position like this. Let's be aware of the crown, the heart, and the hands. And now let's visualize this person in front of us. Let us project some energy to them. Let us say, Atma Namaste. I, the soul, salute the divinity in you. I, the soul, love and respect you. I, the soul, salute the divinity in you. I, the soul, love and respect you. Look into their eyes. Once again, I, the soul, salute the divinity within you. I, the soul, love and respect you. So this is a particular technique taught to us by Padminiji Ramesh. And you can do this technique for even hours if you're having a certain situation. Okay, that's one. The second one is when we basically forgive and we ask for forgiveness. So we'll do that also because it seems that a lot of people have said that they're having issues with young children, I guess, being, stuck at home in COVID times. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands on our heart, visualize the person in front, and let us say Atma Namaste. I, the soul, salute the divinity within you. I, the soul, forgive you. I forgive you for the hurt, for the defiance, whatever is it that they are causing you, any kind of pain. Okay, I forgive you. Please forgive me. Atma Namaste. Let's do it again. Atma Namaste. Visualize them in front of us. You can also visualize them in their energy body. So you can visualize them as a golden body, just full of gold. What that helps is that will also help to transmute the energy. So let's be aware of this person, our child in front of us. Let us say Atma Namaste. I, the soul, salute the divinity within you. I, the soul, forgive you for the hurt and pain caused by you. Please forgive me for the hurt and pain caused by me. Atma Namaste. Inhale slowly. Let's feel the calm. One more time. Atma Namaste. I, the soul, salute the divinity within you. I, the soul, love and respect you. I, the soul, forgive you for your immaturity. I forgive you for not being exactly the way I want you to be. I forgive you for not listening. I forgive you for being defiant. I forgive you for the fact that you're a teen. Please forgive me. I am also today a parent of a child. I don't have any prior experience with this. Even if we are dealing with a second child, we have to be aware that the first child may have been different, right? So we don't have experience in dealing with this particular child as a 16-year-old before. So please forgive me for completely understanding you. Atma Namaste. Let's bless them with peace, with love. Inhale and exhale. So hopefully we are feeling a little bit better after doing the meditation only on the live session, of course, and of course after doing the forgiveness prayer. Now, one more thing is that if something is just about to happen, or you can sense that there is some problem that could arise, one of the things that you can also do is we could play Om Mani Padme Hum in master's voice. when we are having this particular conversation, let's say if it's with our child or whoever it's with, because what that does is that transmutes the energy and it softens the energy. So it just makes that conversation much easier. It makes that situation much lighter. Okay, so you can purchase a CD from any of the local foundations, and you can load it on your phone or wherever you want, and you can play it when you're having this particular conversation. Of course, you can also do it before and after. If you've forgotten to do it, before, you can do it after. It's not a problem. Okay, it works. It really helps because it softens the energy, it changes the energy. See, there are two things in pranic healing, rather, three basic things, which is where we remove dirty energy, we put in fresh energy, and we do what is called, kind of making sure that the energy stays there, which is a technique called stabilizing. The other beautiful thing with pranic healing is that we transmute the energy, which means that it's like changing the form of something. So let's say if something is hurtful, then let's say we change that hurtfulness into, let's say, a lesson of understanding. Or if there's hatred, then we slowly, by putting, a certain kind of energy into it, which is again what Twin Hearts also does, is that we change that hatred into affection or liking or tolerance or whatever is it that the situation requires. Okay, so these are a couple of techniques. I hope you find them useful, and that's it. Okay, so if you're chanting yourself Om Mani Padme Hum, you can do it, I think, 108 times or 1008 times. You can do it as many times as you want. If you're again listening to it in Master's voice, I would suggest you play the CD once and then you wait. Okay. So one more technique that you can perhaps do if you have done pranic healing is you can use the final step that we use in basic pranic healing, which is to cut cords. So, sometimes children get attached to the wrong people, or at least people who we feel are not great company for our children. So what we can do is we can regularly cut those cords. And we need to be mindful of the free will of the soul. So while you're cutting the cords, please make sure you invoke for divine blessings, and then you can cut the cords. This will help your child to hopefully avoid bad company. Um, and if it is a lesson, a life lesson for us as well as for our child, then perhaps it will continue for some time. But let us maintain an attitude of I'd say forgiveness, of learning the lesson, of compassion, patience, because if we want to avoid defiance from our children, we also have to avoid defying them, right? So it's a give and take at some point. Okay. Okay, so that's it. And for those of us who are joining the YouTube session, if you want to join the live session, please text us on our WhatsApp number, which is given below in the window. Okay.